E.T. to take me back to his planet.
Jared, are those screens pressurized?
No.
There's no chemical, no pressurization?
No.
Because once, maybe I damaged it, because once it won't really, the mouse doesn't work.
You have it with you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, so the link, I don't know if you got a chance to answer me.
What's up?
The people are already asking for the link to view the opening of the ballots that night. Do we?
I'll get it. Yes.
Okay.
I want to talk to.
Because then we're gonna put it on the website.
I want to talk to Tom about that.
We're going to, right now, the ballots are pouring in. I mean, we usually get 600-700 at least anyway, so I don't know, but I'm gonna have to have quite a few workers.
My question is, get at the regular board meeting too.
Right.
I had no idea about that. I'm going to talk about it before I get one guy, I don't know my here.
May remember. Go to regular, go to executive session.
So, we've also got, I mean, I don't know what to put, I just did my volunteer junior. There's shift to that day, so they're not completely, the ones that are changing their shift are getting normal salary, but I didn't want to confuse it by putting normal salary because they're not getting that on top of, so I'm just putting it as volunteer.
Well, volunteer change the schedule.
Yeah. I'm more worried about them just getting the names on, we can always fix the language and methods if we have to. And Bonnie has Dan's statement if she knows me. Forgot
These guys not go to the right site, or did Jared give me the wrong site?
Yeah, it's short.
Is there a separate site for,
Just in, Nate. Good evening.
Hello.
It's different for executive, right? Different set of executive.
Yeah. They go into this one that Jared's got for primary, and then I set them on Google Executive.
Sure. Hey, Cindy, Tom, Sherry.
Hello, how are you?
Sherry, all the people on 7B are volunteers except for Judy.
Correct, although I mean volunteers or technically switching their shift that day, so they're just getting paid what they normally would get paid. Daily
Oh, okay.
salary. They're not getting any additional money.
Do I need to say something like that, or?
Actually, you can just, if you want to read the 7B, the approve appointments, Jared's gonna put it up so that the public can see all of the names and everything, so you won't have to read it all.
Okay, but I don't say anything about the compensation?
I don't think you really need to, because we'll have it
Okay.
on the screen.
You're gonna have it on the screen? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
My question is, do you want to do it as, when you approve the agenda, do you want to do it as the addenda right then, or do you want to wait till we get to 7B and just say at this time we'd like to add an additional item?
I think we do consider approval of the agenda with addition of 7B.
Okay, so Jared, did you get that? When we do the top part, approve the agenda?
Yeah.
And then again, when we get to 7B, if you could put it back up or we vote on it.
Let's see if they all remember to come in.
They were all on the other meeting. I just told them to come back onto this one first.
Thank you, I was gonna call them, I didn't know if that was, if I forgot, they gotta go into executive.
I thought that.
Yeah, I flipped over my tab and the four of them were just sitting there staring.
Did you send the invitation to the regular meeting? Yeah.
Yeah. So they were on the regular meeting. Or, no, they were on the executive meeting.
No, I just, yeah.
There we go. Hi, Rob, Steve. That,
Hello.
and it's just Linda? Was Linda on the other meeting?
Yes, she was.
There we go. Okay. Have a motion to call a meeting to order. Motion, Mr. Peters, second, Mrs. Mitchell. All in favor? Okay. Have a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters of public safety, and we'll probably be finished approximately 7 o'clock. May I have a motion? Mr. Thurber, second, Mrs. Mitchell. We'll go into executive session. Well, I gotta leave this one though. Definitely everybody leave this one.
thing, you know, everything goes by name. If you can read my signature, that's fine, but if I can't read your signature,
And that's doesn't fill out the credit.
We have
then you only have your address.
Gonna show you guys some school spirit here.
I love the mask. That'll be something to talk about many years from now. I saw it in one, a couple of universities down, I think it was in the South, all the kids had the masks on. Okay, do I have all board members? I got Scott. I have not seen, I got Steve. I got lost Linda again.
She's still looking for the link. Hold on, let me go back and look at my email so I can tell her what date it was sent.
Okay, like last Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. Smells like
You got her? There we go. Good. For the candidates that are on with us, we just came out of executive session. Just as soon as we get Mrs. Morgan on here, we will call the meeting back into order out of executive session and have a pledge and the roll call, and then be on with our agenda. Sometimes technology takes a little while.
Bonnie, I'm showing that Linda is on.
Oh, you are? Because I'm not. Okay. Okay, good. Then we got Linda on. Okay, good. I have a motion come out of executive session. I can't see pictures of Mrs. Mitchell, second Mr. LaFountain. All in favor? Motion carried. I have a pledge of allegiance, and we could stand for the pledge. I think there is a pledge in the boardroom that we can see. So I pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Sherry, roll call, please.
There goes Sharon.
Okay, Ms. Berry,
Here.
Mr. LaFountain,
Here.
Ms. Mills,
Come on, put your hand.
Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Morgan,
Here.
Mr. Peters,
Here.
Mr. Thurber.
Here.
I have a motion to consider the approval of the agenda with the addition of 7B, which is the appointment of the poll workers. So can I have a motion? Mr. LaFountain, second Mr. Thurber. All in favor? Motion passed. I did not have any public comments tonight on the budget. I did have a few that will be read on June 9th, but there were no comments on the budget other than those that we read last week. I do want to say in a public comment, thank you to Sherry, Provost, and Kenny, and the secretaries for packing up the ballots and getting them to all the post offices, and Matt Lefebvre and his group for the deposit box for the ballots. I stopped today and deposited mine, and it's a very secure area, and I think it will meet the needs of many people and save us a little bit of money in postage. So, superintendent's report.
So, are you ready?
So good evening and welcome. We're starting with the budget hearing this evening. We're all going through a very trying time. Similar to the trying time we're going through, this budget process this year has been far from normal. As a matter of fact, it's anything but normal. It's for all of us in our lives at home, and certainly now it's all but uncertain as well, and that certainly is the norm for our budgetary process. It's a very uncertain time for all of us and also our budgetary process. It's made the budgetary process very challenging. One of the things that's in great jeopardy is the state aid projections. And one of the fundamental questions we have to ask as we see many things going on in terms of bailouts is why are we struggling with budget cuts? Well, there is some hope with regards to this. The House recently passed, and the Senate is considering a bill now, and this bill has several items in it, and there's significant funding for states and local governments. In addition, it's also essential that this have funding for New York schools, because absent this funding, New York schools and perhaps schools throughout the country face enormous cuts. And in particular, it is thought that New York State schools will face upwards of 20% reduction in foundation aid. New York State in particular has been devastated by the COVID virus, and it is estimated that New York State needs approximately $61 billion alone in federal support, or else there will be significant reductions in school, local governments, and hospitals. The impact has really been devastating, and one of the key factors in this is the fact that it not only impacted expenditures, the COVID virus did, but it also impacted revenues as as the economy shut down, revenues to the state became a trickle of what they once were. And this, of course, produced an enormous gap as expenditures increased and revenues decreased. As a result of that, the Budget Office created, not knowing what revenues would be in the future, what are referred to as look-back periods. They created 3 of these with the standard theory that if money isn't coming into the state, it's hard to send it to perhaps schools, districts, and then other agencies throughout New York State. And these 3 look-back periods were identified, and the first has already closed. Although they haven't adjusted our state aid yet, we are subject to 2 more look-back periods that could impact our 2021 budget. And those are coming up to close at June 30th. And then again, as late as December 30th of 2020. So what we may be looking at as projections now could be theoretically adjusted during these look-back periods in terms of state aid. And that is of significance to a school district such as Peru that is very dependent on state aid. Those mid-year adjustments could impact and require us to make mid-year adjustments in terms of reductions to our budgets and cause us to make, cuts in our programs. And we've never been accustomed to making reductions mid-year, but that may be the case as we begin the 2021 budget year. Having given that as a general overview and introduction for this evening, we're going to have some specific budget hearing topics to discuss. We'll talk about the property tax levy limit, the proposed budget proposition 1, property reassessment and equalization, proposed bus purchases, which is proposition number 2, and then the 8 candidates running for 2 seats on the Board of Education. Let's begin by looking at the property tax levy limit. The property tax levy limit, it actually does not restrict it, the tax levy to 2%. It's actually an 8-step formula that calculates the levy limit for each individual school district, and it's based on a degree of variables. For example, the calculation does allow for real property growth to the local tax base, and it also adjusts to the rate of inflation, or 2%, whichever is lower. With regards to our tax levy limit, we've had a rather steady increase in our tax levy. In this particular year, we are estimating our tax levy limit has been established to increase approximately $371,050, or that's a tax levy increase of 2.09%. Now, with regards to our proposed budget, we can examine some various sections of our budget. In general, our overall budget is $48,880,908. That consists of all of the operating expenditures associated with salaries, utilities, student transportation, material and supplies, debt service, and that represents a less than a percentage increase over this year's school budget. Breakout with regards to the majority of expenditures in a school district, which are related to personnel. Salary is approximately 42% of our proposed budget, and then benefits are 35%, adding up to 77%, and then the additional 23% is related to debt service, and all the other things in our budget add up to approximately 19%. With regards to revenues, as I had indicated, the lion's share of our revenues are associated with the tax levy at 38% of our total revenues, and then state aid is the vast majority of our revenue. That's at 53%, and then all the other revenues tally up to approximately 9%. With regards to our expenditures, this is predominantly a rollover budget. We eliminated all enhancements that we had proposed earlier in the process, the budgetary process, when the COVID-19 hit us. We also did do the modest increases we have throughout the budget are perhaps associated with additional maintenance and operations expenditures associated with projections and expenditures and sanitation requirements that may be related to COVID in the upcoming school year. One thing I want to note on this is we do have a decrease in admin and improvement. This is related to the retirement of 2 of our senior administrators during the 1920 school year. Although our employee benefit continues to increase, I'm happy to report that we're no longer, this year was not a double-digit increase in health insurance, which we have struggled with the last 2 years. Initially, as we created our lean budget, however, have an imbalance when we went to balance revenues and expenditures. And that imbalance that we initially had was $256,868, as our expenditures that we had forecasted exceeded our projected revenues. Therefore, we are making the following recommendations to close that gap. Those reductions consist of a special education position, a school resource officer program, a nurse teaching position through attrition, and then the library aide teaching position also through attrition. Unfortunately, because of the look-back periods and the potential for enormous reductions in state aid, there are additional reductions that may be required. And these are if the revenues that we are projecting currently in our budget do not continue to mature or are not forthcoming from the state or are taken back during the look-back periods. There are a laundry list of additional reductions we are prepared to make. These include state or district-wide reductions, certificated positions to include the intermediate principal position, teacher assistant position, clerical position, and then in Appendix A, we have various positions in addition to this. For some additional reductions in sports, clubs and activities, and some programs in terms of field trips, PM school at the elementary. There would be the potential need to eliminate some grade level teaching positions, as many as perhaps 5.4 full-time equivalents. At the secondary level, subject area teaching positions up to 5.6 positions. All of these in total would be approximately over $1 million. We are hopeful, of course, that this would be adequate to fill a gap that would be created by a shortfall in state aid. We'll want to spend a little time talking about property and reassessment and equalization. First and foremost, school districts do not assess property. However, we do use that information. We do, as you are well aware, create an annual budget. We establish a tax levy based on our voter-approved budget. And we do use the assessed value to calculate the tax rates. Here is a historical perspective of the assessed value of Peru Central School District over time, dating back to 2008, 2009. You can see a progressive process of the increased value of the school district. A rather substantial increase is predicted in the tentative assessed value of the district this year, and this is an estimate. Now, with regards to the town of Peru is our largest town in terms of assessed value, and there was a significant increase to the town of Peru in terms of value. However, the increase in value, given the fact that the tax levy limit or the tax levy was only projected to go up 2.09%, does allow for a substantial decrease in the tax rate compared to this year, based on the tentative assessed value. To give an example, if you had a home with a school taxable assessed value of $200,000 in the 1920 or this current school year, given the tax rate of $20.28, you can see what that would generate in terms of an estimated school tax. That same home, if the assessed value increased to $217,000, but the estimated tax rate dropped to $18.69, you can see that the actual tax bill would be identical. So with regards to equalization rates, this is an important component that comes into play this year. And this is a way of equalizing between townships, those that have been reassessed and those that haven't been for a bit of time, to ensure that the tax levy is fairly distributed over townships, and to bring everyone to an even playing field, if you will. And the equalization rates generate then the differences between tax rates within a school district. You have different situations going on within Peru Central School District this year. You have some of our towns that have an equalization rate of 100, which has generally been the case over the time period that I've been here, over the last 15 years. But this year we do have some equalization rates who have dropped below 100, and this means that we will have different tax rates depending upon the township you live within, even though you all live within Peru Central School District. So these are estimates based on the assessed values. So we can see how the equalization rates come into play. You can see over time, we're accustomed to seeing 100% equalization rates for our towns. But now we have some at 95%, and for example, Plattsburgh at 90%. And then Schuyler Falls at 95%. Then these translate into different tax rates for our towns. So you can see that although Peru had an increase significantly in their assessed value, since Plattsburgh has not been reassessed and is a bit behind perhaps in their fair market value, the difference between Peru and Plattsburgh is, of course, their tax rate. I showed this slide earlier, but this is an important component in comparison to the tax rates. So I want you to see that, to demonstrate the steady increase in terms of the tax levy. And what you'll see in the next slide is you'll see the tax rates. And remember, the tax levy is subject to the levy limit. And that is used, of course, to translate into tax rates. So here we have, in the dark blue, we have the tax rates over a period of time within Peru Central School District dating back to 2013-14 and up to 1920. All of these represent the tax rates that we've had within our school district. Those, since everything was at 100% equalization rate, we had a universal tax rate throughout the school district. This year, because we have different equalization rates throughout our school district, we do have some different rates. And these are all tentative now and estimates, but you can see, for example, the different tax rates depending upon the township, and these are all estimates again, based on assessed values. But these are the different tax rates that we will have within our townships based on the estimated assessed values. And you can compare with them with the tax rates that we've had in previous years. So with regards to a summary, the proposed tax levy limit is 2.09%. We are not proposing to go over that levy limit, so the levy-to-levy increase for all of Peru Central School District is 2.09%. That, however, does translate into different tax rates, and Ausable actually has a decrease in terms of their tax rate increase. Blackbrook also has a decrease in their tax rate. Peru enjoys a decrease in their tax rate. Plattsburgh does have an increase in terms of their tax rate, and that increase is 2.4% in tax rate increase. Saranac also has a decrease in their tax rate, as well as Schuyler Falls. With regards to this year's budget vote, I think everyone is aware. This is not under the district's control. This is a state mandate. Throughout New York State, this year's budget is a result of COVID-19. It is done by absentee ballot. It must be received throughout New York State by June 9th at 5 p.m. Voters can either return by mail their absentee ballot, or we are welcoming voters to return into a drop box that we have set up right here by the high school main entrance. All that is required is a simple majority or more than 50%, because we are not proposing a tax levy above the levy limit. Had we proposed a tax levy above the limit, a 60% or more majority would have been required, but that is not the case. That ends the proposition number 1 overview. We do have another proposition that consists of proposition number 2 that is related to 2 regular buses, 65 passenger buses, and a wheelchair bus. The total cost of these 3 buses is not to exceed $399,485. Pleased to report that the majority of this cost is offset by state aid, which is approximately 89%. That the purchase is in keeping with our school district's replacement plan. At this point, I'll turn this over to, I think, our board president, who will be introducing the individuals running for the 2 vacated seats. And some may have an opportunity to present this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Sapp. Any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Sapp? Dr. Palmer, did you want to address anything at that time before we go with the board candidates?
Did you want me to speak now, Madam President, or do you want me to wait till the end to talk? Just pretty much recapping what Mr. Sapp had shared about ballots and understanding that, because we had a number of questions in the community about ballots.
Okay, maybe do that now in case people do go out of the, the meeting.
Okay, I had a number of emails come in and people were misunderstanding about the ballot process this year. It normally takes the third Tuesday in May. With the governor, with the COVID virus and the changes with the governor's calendar, we have been pushed back into the June 9th. And with that process came the ballots that are also coming by mail. Mrs. Provost, my secretary, and also the district clerk worked extremely hard with our entire staff to get those out. There was over 7,000 envelopes that went out to 14,000 people. These were guesstimates based on not registered voters, but voters in the household that she had received. If anyone falls short and they do not have enough ballots, please contact her at our office at 518-643-6002, and she'll be able to get those other ballots out to you if you need those. Again, it was a very lengthy process in a short amount of time. So I just wanted to make sure that people did realize that, because some people were blaming the Board of Education that you changed the process. That process was changed at the governor's level, and we are just a byproduct of that. The other piece is graduation. It's a very hot topic right now that I know a number of people want to talk about. So we're going to also be opening that up, and I will have more information out tomorrow on Facebook, on our website, as well as we'll send text messages and emails to all of our school community to have an open forum on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and we'll have a further discussion about graduation. The graduation plan that we have in place right now has been endorsed by the Clinton County Health Department. They feel it's a very strong plan, very safe plan, but we also have a backup plan if things were to lessen into the degree of what we're looking at right now. And we want to make sure that also our community does have a voice, even though I really want to be very clear, though, that first and foremost, we really care about the safety of our students and our school community. So we always want to make sure we're in compliance with the executive orders of the governor and what the health department has elected to give us as far as direction. So, but we will have something out for Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. One important thing about the ballots too, people have to be reminded to sign the envelope. Mrs. Provost is going through and checking and calling people if there aren't signatures, but please make sure you sign the envelope. It is still totally, she's put out some information too on a media release. It's still totally anonymous, because the envelopes are put in one pile and the ballots are put in another pile and mixed up, so no one knows what envelope went with what ballot. So be assured that it is anonymous. So I think that's
One last thing on that, just for clarity too, that the board did ask earlier on. Mrs. Provost will have a check. She will check off so she knows everybody that does. So there will not be multiple ballots by any individual.
okay.
So
Good.
Just for clarity purposes also, she does have that from the county. And there will also be in a process checking off when someone's ballot came in.
Thank you. Right now, we have the candidates for our 2 positions for Board of Education members, and they have been given 3 minutes to give a little speech. And we're going to go in alphabetical order. So first of all, we have Kelly Baharnwa. So Kelly, you can turn on her microphone. Okay, and I'm not seeing her picture. Have we got your video up too?
I think so.
Okay, I'm not, there we are. Now I'm seeing it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi.
Okay, you have the 3 minutes. So go ahead.
Oh, thank you. My name is Kelly Boharnwa. I'd like to thank the Board of Education and the leadership at Peru for giving me the opportunity to address our school community. Just a little bit about myself. I work for a local not-for-profit agency as the Assistant Director of Fiscal Intermediary Services. Fiscal Intermediary Services is a component in the self-direction program. We serve people with disabilities in their homes, in the community, in our community, in our county. I feel my work experience, as well as being a mom of a middle schooler and a high schooler, brings a valuable perspective to the table. If elected, I would be prepared. I would strive to ask the right questions. I would promote communication between the school and the community. I think it's important to be flexible and be responsive to the staff needs of the staff, needs of the parents, needs of the community members, and I feel that it's my turn to serve.
Thank you. Good job, too, under the 3 minutes. Okay, and I don't know if Mr. K.A. is on yet. He had another commitment. He didn't send us just a brief message to say that, if he didn't get here before, we said we could put him at the end if he did get here before we finished with, after we finished with our other candidates, only because he had another commitment. But other than that, he did send a message to say good luck to everybody and best wishes for the safety and health for you and your families. So now we'll go on to Mr. Falvo. Yeah, thank you. Good. Mr. Falvo's mic is not on. There we go. Mic is on. Now it's on.
Good. Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Palmer, and Mrs. Provost, not only for the time to introduce myself, but for your service to our community. I also would like to thank Mrs. Mills for all of her work over her past 13 years. My name is Jim Falvo. As a Peru resident for the last 18 years, this town has become a true home for my family. My wife, Dorina, and I are proud parents of 2 young men that attend Peru Central School District. They're both strong student athletes that keep us very busy. Under normal circumstances, between soccer, basketball, and band performances, we find ourselves amongst other supportive parents cheering on their continued growth. My 30-plus years of business leadership has taught me how important communication is to ensuring the successful completion of any goal. Being a strong listener enables me to consistently have successful conversations regardless of the circumstances. This has allowed me to conduct multiple human resource investigations that require discretion, a sense of urgency, accuracy, and the highest level of professionalism. I constantly need to read, interpret, and communicate multiple reports to a variety of audiences. Being able to understand complex reporting or policy and procedures and respond to what I have learned is an essential part of my daily work routine. Reacting to changing conditions in a proactive fashion makes maintaining a budget possible. Sometimes making groups of small changes can help save room for investments that would normally be lost. Being a person that believes in giving back to the community that has given me so much, I have consistently looked for opportunities to do so. I have volunteered at PTO events, was part of the stakeholder committees that interviewed the candidates for principal and superintendent, house manager for Peru Music Theater, and a fan at multiple sporting and musical events. My volunteerism extends to the town of Peru as ZBA chairperson, Board of Assessment Review member, soccer coach for the Peru Youth Commission, and member of the committee to implement the comprehensive plan. I have also been a volunteer for the past 18 years at St. Augustine's Apple Fest. I am looking for your support so that I can use my experience to offer a diverse and creative view of what is needed to guarantee that our students are successful while balancing the needs of the students, educators, support staff, administration, and the taxpayers. I would like to thank everyone for your time and attention this evening and hope that you will invest your vote in me.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Oops. Mr. Falvo, have you shut off your video at this point? I'm looking for Mrs. Graves. I know she was on.
You see her, Jared? I saw her up on the top.
I did. I can't see her anymore.
She's not on?
She's not on? She was.
Mrs. Barry, she's not on anymore.
Oh, okay. Let me move to, did Mr. Maggie get on? I didn't see him. I know Mrs. Graves was on before. Did Mr. Maggie get on?
I don't see him on, no.
No, I didn't either. Okay. Mrs. Moffat. Let me see. She was on.
She was, yes.
Yep. Okay. There we go, Mrs. Moffat.
All right. Hello. My name's Marky Moffat, and thank you, board, for allowing me to share some thoughts with you about why I'm running for school board and what I hope to bring if I am elected to the position. So I have been in education for the past 18 years. I teach at the college level. I care about our schools very much. I've lived here for many years now, and both of my children were born in the area and have both gone to school at Peru schools for their entire childhood. I have a third grader and I have a ninth grader. And they've both had really good experiences. I'm very happy with Peru schools so far. I know that being an educator is challenging. My experience has taught me that. And I have a lot of friends in the area who teach. So I know how challenging it can be at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. I'm running because not only do I care about my kids, but I care about our community. I've been engaged in community volunteerism for many, many years. I'm currently the library board president at Peru Free Library. And so I have all of that experience. In addition to that, I am running because I think it's really important to have a variety of voices on a school board. So with my background in education, I think that can be helpful. Additionally, I'm a scientist by training. I'm a chemist. And what that really says about me as a person is I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in understanding how things work and why they work as they do. And I'm also very good at doing the research to really understand problems and at being a good problem solver. That's actually what chemists are very good at. So if you find that those types of characteristics would be helpful on a school board, if you think that it would be valuable to have someone like me on the school board, I would be happy to serve for 5 years. I think that it's important that all of us in a community work hard to keep our community thriving. And if I can help do that as a member of the school board, I would be happy to do so. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay. We are down to Mr. Peters, I believe. Mr. Peters?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Great. Yeah, so it's been an honor to serve with this board and this administration over the last 2 years. You know, one of the things that I know that I bring is, at this point, after a couple of years of work, is some institutional knowledge about how things go. I know that I bring a lot of creativity, and I like to look at things in a different way to be able to get to a productive outcome. You know, one of the things that we really have to focus on, of course, is to stay under that tax cap, which certainly we've been successful in doing thus far. And I know that this budget cycle is going to give us a really difficult challenge. And I think at this point, we need some consistent leadership to navigate through this difficult budget cycle. that should be fair. It should be unbiased. And in saying so, there definitely isn't any room for special interests or personal agendas. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is to really have been a part of this effort that we've made over the last few years, really with most of the work being done by administration to accelerate technology opportunities for students, especially on that one-to-one initiative. So I know this brings a high value to our graduates in a digital world that they're going to be going into. And so that's something that I think we can really be really proud of, and something that I think has been a hallmark over the last few years. Right now, though, we're in some unprecedented times, and I know it needs the right leadership to be able to get to that point. With a re-election on my part, I know that I can continue our work with the rest of the team that we have established here to be able to navigate through these difficult components of how the budget's going to work, how our staff is going to react, and trying to put as much effort as possible to getting, funding and resources in a place where our teachers can do the jobs that they've been hired to do, and so that they can focus on the things that we need them to focus on, so that our students learn and become contributing members of our society. In closing, with the right leadership, I know we can use this challenge that we have in front of us to build financial resiliency and unique learning opportunities, really for the best of our students. And that's what I'm hoping I can bring. Thanks.
Thank you. And I think Mrs. Graves is having a problem with her mic. I don't know, is Mrs. Graves on at this point? She was having a problem with the mic. I
see her name keeps popping up, but I don't see her picture.
Oh, she has no mic right now. Well, if she could email that to me, I could read it because of the problems with the mic. I mean, we're having issues with technology, and we know that. I don't know if she has anything written out that I could read for her. While we wait, we'll go to Mrs. Rose. Mrs. Rose?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we
Well,
can.
I thank everybody for giving us an opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Kim Rose, and I work at the Ausable Dental Center. I have been a dental hygienist for 31 years, and I've worked at the Ausable Dental Center for 25. I've been a Peru resident for 19 years. I have a son in 7th grade, and my daughter graduated Peru a year early to go to the Clarkson School. So we know that the teachers at Peru are great. My husband is one of those teachers who teaches 7th grade. I am running to be a part of the changes of Peru that are currently, we're in a crisis right now with COVID-19, and we really don't know where education is going. And I really want to be a part of that. I want the teachers to be able to do their job, and I want the students to be able to learn. It's very hard right now, especially with my son, who is very not motivated to get going on the computer. I want to make sure Peru also remains the center of the community, and that the community members have access to all the fantastic things Peru has to offer. I'm proud of Peru, and I want the best education for my child and everybody else's child. If we go to remote learning, it's going to be very difficult for our parents and the students and the teachers. And I just don't want anybody left behind, and I'd love to be part of that decision making. Short and sweet.
It's okay, thank you.
So thank you.
Okay, I still don't see anything. Oh, could she call me and put on speaker? Yes, Mrs. Morgan is sending me a message about Mrs. Graves. Yeah, she could call one of us, or, yeah, call me and put on speaker, definitely. We'll try anything because technology is a barrier right now. If she wants to call, I don't think she has my number. Does she have yours, Mrs. Morgan, that she could call and you could put her on speaker? Oh, you didn't have a working mic either.
Mrs. Barry,
Yes.
she can actually phone into the meeting directly.
Okay, can you tell us that number, Jared?
Sure, I can send you by email. The number is 314-666-2453, and the PIN number is 869-677-716.
Okay, so we got that. For Sarah Graves, you call 314, I would assume you have to dial a 1 before it, 314-666-2453. Right? And then the PIN is 869-677-716. Did I get it?
You got it, Mrs. Barry.
Okay. So let's see if we can get Mrs. Graves to call in. And Mr. K, I don't think ever came on board. While we're waiting for, and where will that phone go into, Sherry?
No, she'll just come right into the meeting.
Okay. Why don't we go to personnel while we're waiting for her to call in? So item 7A, do I have a motion on item 7A? Motion, Mrs. Mills. I can't see any other pictures now. I don't know why. Second, Mr. Peters. That's the one I'm seeing coming up. So, any discussion? All in favor? And you'll have to say, okay, I'm getting a call. I got Mrs. Mills. I don't have some other pictures coming up. I'm sorry. Are we all in favor? Anybody?
Aye.
Okay, good. Motion carries. And then, I think, do we have Mrs. Graves on now?
Yes, Mrs. Barry, she just joined.
Okay, Mrs. Graves, if you could give us your little speech right now, we'll go with the telephone. We got her, Jared?
I see her, she's here. She's muted.
Just needs to turn on her mic.
Just needs to turn on mic, says she's muted.
If she dialed on the phone, how'd she mute?
Here, check.
Why don't we look at motion 7B while we're waiting? And this motion was an addition to make sure that we have our poll people set to approve the appointments for the 2019-20 election poll. And we have a list of those people up there. Mr. Jared has that on there. So do I have a motion? Mr. Mitchell, second, Mr. LaFountain. Any discussion? All in favor? I have all in favor? Motion carried.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Bonnie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Listen, I've been having some technology issues, and on 7A, I did not, I was not trying to vote, not only to advance it, but I wasn't voting in favor of 7A.
Oh, okay. I got I'm sorry. Let's go back to 7A.
Yeah.
So, 7A, we have one opposed. Looks carried. So the motion is carried. Thank you. I see hands going up in the picture, so I'm never sure what those are.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. And do we have Mrs. Graves on there yet?
She's dialed in, but I don't. She's still muted.
Okay, she's gonna call me. I don't think she has my phone number unless she calls my home phone number. Mrs. Morgan says she's gonna call me. Okay, Mrs. Morgan gave her my cell number. Somebody else will have to do the 3-minute timing. I don't only do one thing at a time on my phone. So she's gonna call me on my phone. Sorry about the delay. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Is that your Ranger? Yeah. You like it? Think about it, Jared. I can see myself in a pickup.
See Mrs. Graves? Can she click on the mic and turn that mic on? Or is she going to call me? I think she's calling me.
Unknown caller.
Hello, Mrs. Graves. Sorry for all the little problems here tonight.
Oh, no phone numbers anywhere.
Is that going to work, people? Can you hear? Okay.
It sounds scratchy. They can see you. Oh. Okay, can I speak?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know, hear that squeaky.
Okay.
Should I try?
Yes.
Mrs. Barry,
Yes.
do you, could you try muting your audio?
Just a minute, Sarah. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
What was it, Jared?
Could you try muting your sound, your speakers?
Oh, mute my sound. Oh, yes. Okay.
Oh, she just, how about just emailed her speech in?
Tom, I think if you mute yours and just leave Bonnie's on, it may work.
No.
Okay, we'll try it then. Tell Bonnie, try it again.
Okay.
I've got you now, Bonnie.
Okay.
hear me over the bings?
Can you hear her, people?
Good evening.
Sarah, step away from your computer.
Mrs. Mary, they're saying just turn your speaker down just a little bit.
Oh, me?
Mrs. Mary, what if she emails it to us so we can post it?
Okay, Miss Sarah, they're thinking, can you email that? We can post it, because what happens is when I turn on the mic and my phone, that's when we get the echo.
Oh, okay. I can try to email it. We don't have a computer that emails right at this moment. I'm on an iPad.
Oh, okay. Maybe drop it off at Sherry tomorrow morning or something?
I can drop it off so the board can at least view it. I'm very sorry. Can you hear me now?
Is that better now, everyone? It is?
It sounds a little better.
Yes. Okay, let's try it, but we'll also have it emailed.
Okay, should I try it?
Board members, can you, yes, try it, they said.
Okay, just tell me to stop if it gets unbearable. I'd like to thank the board for the invitation to speak. I'm Sarah Graves. My husband Art and our 2 sons have lived in the village of Peru since 1971. Both our boys walked to Peru Central School for 13 years and graduated with a strong foundation for the colleges of their choice. I have a strong vested interest in both the town of Peru and the school, especially since education is my chosen line of work. I am here today to request the board and the community's support in the upcoming election. I've always had a strong interest in education, finance, creative thinking, and problem solving. Since my retirement, I have had extra time to devote to something that I would be passionate about. The school board fits that bill. Having grandchildren in both Peru and PHS, education is an important part of my life, even though I'm retired. I realize that serving on the board will not be a walk in the park, and due to extenuating circumstances, there will be many difficult decisions to be made. I am ready for these tasks. I have no preset agendas. I come with no baggage, and I will operate freely with an open mind. Always remembering my decisions are not only my decisions, but the decisions of the community and the board together. As part of a board, I will be a team player. I know it's impossible to get everyone on the same page all at the same time, but I will be available and listen and consider the input of all. Engaging the community is essential. With safety first, a strong priority would be student achievement. I will help create policies which support the resources for successes in all areas, whether it be academics, sports, the arts, or behaviors. Open communication is as integrity and honesty are essential to help Peru develop to be all it can be. I know funds are increasingly hard to come by. I will seek and support any efforts to find additional sources to protect successful programs or initiate new and better ones. I will be an advocate trying to best prepare our students for the future in today's increasingly complex world. I do feel I am ready, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I think it went through all right, didn't it, everyone?
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we've gone through A and B. We're all right. So now I need a motion to adjourn. Motion, Mr. Peters, second, Mrs. Mitchell. All in favor? Okay, meeting is adjourned until next Tuesday, June 9. Thank you.